For over a century, a small structure within the female reproductive system was dismissed as biologically irrelevant, an evolutionary leftover with no known purpose. Known as the Rete Ovarii, it sat quietly beneath the ovary, mostly ignored in textbooks and research, rarely mentioned in classrooms, and largely excluded from scientific inquiry. But a groundbreaking new study published in eLife has begun to rewrite that story in remarkable fashion. What was once thought to be useless is now emerging as a potentially crucial component in maintaining ovarian health and fertility. The significance of this shift in understanding cannot be overstated. When researchers from the University of Michigan turned their attention to the Rete Ovarii using modern imaging and genetic tools, what they found was not a vestigial remnant, but rather a dynamic and complex structure. Far from being passive or inert, the Rete Ovarii appears to play an active role in shaping the environment of the ovary, helping regulate the early stages of egg development and possibly influencing how the reproductive system responds to hormonal changes. What's especially encouraging is that this discovery not only validates the importance of revisiting long-held assumptions in science, but also opens up new possibilities for how we understand and potentially treat infertility. The study identified that the Rete Ovarii, composed of 3 distinct regions, each with its own structure and function, is formed before birth and retained throughout adulthood. This continuity suggests that it isn't merely a relic of fetal development, but rather a structure with enduring biological purpose. Even more compelling is the presence of key proteins within the rete that are linked to follicle growth. One of these proteins, IGFBP2, is known to interact with growth factors essential for follicle maturation. This introduces the exciting possibility that the Rete Ovarii helps orchestrate the development of egg-producing follicles, potentially influencing the timing and quality of ovulation. The presence of hormone receptors for estrogen and progesterone further strengthens the argument that this organ responds to hormonal cues and may serve as a communication hub between the broader endocrine system and the ovary. Observing fluid movement from the rete toward the ovary using fluorescent dye techniques brought visual confirmation that this isn't just a structural component, it's functionally active. The comparison to an antenna is more than metaphorical. The Rete Ovarii may actually be a sensor and transmitter of hormonal signals, helping to maintain the balance and timing of complex reproductive processes. There's something especially profound in discovering that such a long-overlooked piece of anatomy could hold answers to some of the most enduring questions in reproductive health. For decades, medical science has focused intensely on visible, better understood parts of the female reproductive system, like the ovaries and uterus, while areas like the Rete Ovarii have been dismissed. This oversight reflects a broader trend in science, the historical underfunding and under-researching of female anatomy. That this new knowledge is only emerging now, despite the rete being identified as far back as the 1800s, is both sobering and inspiring. It reminds us how much more there is to learn, and how powerful the act of simply paying attention can be. This research also underscores the evolutionary intelligence embedded within the body. The Rete Ovarii is highly conserved across mammalian species, including cows, monkeys, and mice. Nature doesn't tend to preserve what it doesn't need. The fact that this structure has been maintained across millions of years suggests it serves a vital role, and we're just beginning to understand what that is. With mice showing similar patterns of reproductive development as humans, these findings may translate meaningfully to human fertility research. Perhaps one of the most hopeful takeaways from this discovery is the promise it holds for the future of reproductive medicine. If the Rete Ovarii helps maintain ovarian health, supports follicle development, and responds to hormonal changes, it may eventually become a target for therapies aimed at improving fertility or treating conditions like polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, early menopause, or unexplained infertility. The idea that a once-forgotten organ could one day help people conceive or better manage their reproductive health is nothing short of extraordinary. But beyond medicine, this story is also a powerful reminder of the value of curiosity. Scientific progress doesn't always come from the most obvious places. Sometimes it comes from looking again at what we thought we already knew. In this case, a structure thought to be useless has turned out to be vital, a revelation that should encourage a deeper, more nuanced exploration of the female body and its astonishing complexity. As lead author Delarian Barcy aptly put it, there's still so much we can't even begin to comprehend about female anatomy. The discovery of the Rete Ovarii's role in fertility is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter in understanding the female reproductive system. With further research, this once-dismissed structure could unlock more than just secrets of fertility. It could symbolize a turning point in how science values and explores the female body in all its depth, purpose, and precision.